Welcome to another week of Rooted and Raw. Okay. Is anybody else, every time I say that, does anybody else automatically start hearing the music play in your ear?
Yes.
Sometimes. Okay, wonderful. All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome back.
Yes.
We are here. We are ready for another topic discussion. Before we do that, let's tell them who we have.
All right. Well, hello, guys. All the podcast king and queens. My name is Flora.
This is Tam.
You got Sherita in the building.
So ridiculous. And of course you have D. And then we have our lovely Stephanie behind the scenes. Say hi, Stephanie. Hi, guys. She's so sweet. She sounds as sweet as she sounds. I mean, she looks and acts as sweet as she sounds. All right, so let's jump in with another ice. What is wrong with you? You know, this is what happens when you leave for a little while and then you come back.
I feel like the whole minute that we've been talking, everybody sounds a little drunk.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Well, one thing I can say, you've never seen me or heard me drunk before.
Hey,
Same.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
No,
I'm
yeah,
just
that's
saying,
good.
it sounds like everybody kind of
Sounds like
stumbling over words
we're speaking in cursive.
a little bit.
Okay.
You
She
started
doesn't
with,
understand
does
cursive.
everybody hear the song it plays when we, and it just, I was like, are we starting like that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
that's exactly how we was starting because I'd already said. But I just, every time I do that and, you know, then I can
I
just
do too.
automatically hear the song in my ears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jamie's boys. They are the
DNT?
DNT.
Mm-hmm.
They produced our song and we absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
Shout out to y'all. Okay. Speaking of which, let's start our icebreaker. I'm excited.
Okay.
Ooh.
What we got? I'm nervous. She's smiling.
I don't know why I'm excited because it's actually a very annoying.
Probably that's why.
All right. So the icebreaker question for today is, what's a normal adult task that still feels widely unreasonable?
All right. Can I start?
You sure can.
Because I only did it because I got paid to do. I don't like doing it at home, but mopping. I don't like mopping.
Okay. Respectfully.
Nope.
Like, do you actually use like an actual like mop bucket to mop?
Oh, you use a Swiffer.
No, I use a steamer,
Oh,
which is not the same because just put that kind of like a Swiffer, I guess.
yeah.
But I'm good. But the mopping where
Yeah.
you do have to
No,
do
I
that
ain't
whole
about
thing.
that life.
Nope. No, thank you. Not for me. And like I said, I did it for about a year only because I got paid for it. I used to work at one Planet Fitness years ago in upstate New York, but that's the only reason why I did it. I didn't mind it because I was getting paid, and that's the only thing I could remember. I'm like, okay, look, I'm just doing an ab workout. I'm working my obliques. I'm getting paid.
Okay.
While the
getting
music is going, I'm
played.
like, this is the only reason why I'm doing. I gotta pay the bills.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, that's what kept me going.
Well, that leads into mine. Mine is paying bills.
Okay.
Because the fact that I get paid and then the same day is gone, there's a problem.
What's the thing?
Okay.
That's a whole thing.
It's a thing.
That's one, look, going back to last week, pet peeve number 577 is paying bills because y'all raggedy, okay?
And they don't stop.
They
they
don't.
don't stop.
I was just sitting here thinking that, like, and do you ever not?
Ever
Once
not.
you start, I
They
don't think
don't
so.
stop.
They don't end.
I think you just, I'm sorry. I think you just keep paying
No,
bills.
It's okay.
Yeah.
'Cause-
But I mean, you know, glass half full, at least you have the things to, I mean, there's some people who don't pay bills because they ain't got a house or a car.
That is true.
I'm sorry. I was trying to help. I got
Yeah.
nothing. It's fine. It's
I want
fine.
my money to stay my money. I'm
Okay.
tired of my money becoming Uncle Sam's money. You ain't work for this, but you take 25% of my paycheck.
God, I feel all of that.
She is sounding real bitter.
Yeah, take it,
Okay.
Sherita. Take it
Yeah, you
before she
got it.
goes on.
Well, I know me and my sis over here, we got the, it's
It's the same.
And Steph said the same thing too.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Steph
yeah,
did
Steph.
say this. Yeah.
Yeah, so when it comes to doing those dishes, when I tell you, if that is a chore that I could give to anybody, that's the chore I'm going to give you, so I don't have to do it. I am tired of washing dishes. So I know my grandma always said, whenever you go to cook your dinner, have hot dishwater in the sink. But that's so I have to wash as I go. I don't want to wash the dishes. But hey, them dishes.
I feel like I cook dinner so I don't have to wash the dishes.
I was gonna
And
say
that is the rule in my
Yeah.
house. That is the rule.
Ours too, which is why I cook, because I don't want to have to wash dishes. Although we have a dishwasher, we
was gonna
have 4 of them actually.
Wait, what?
Dishwashers, we have 4,
The one that's connected.
And then the 3
And then
kids.
the
and them 3 kids.
Oh, gotcha.
We got
So
4
right now,
dishwashers,
I
so
have
there's no
3.
reason for me to have to wash dishes.
Actually, Brandon recently started washing dishes, so like it's now his like turn to do, and Hannah has to put the clean ones away. The other day he goes, "Mommy, I don't like this," because I turn around. He actually had a nightmare that he turned around and turned back around and the dishes were full again. I was like,
Oh
"Honey, that's
snap! That is every
That
single
sound like my
day.
kitchen.
I was
I'm
gonna
about
say
to say,
that
that's-
reminds me of laundry.
And that's my
Ooh.
second one. Like the first one's bills. Everybody kind of feels that way. But when we talk about like chores, is I can wash my clothes, I can dry my clothes, but it's gonna sit in that laundry basket for about a month until I need some
ending.
clothes.
I
because
promise you, I love to
hate
fold clothes
folding
I rather-
laundry.
I rather fold laundry than do dishes.
all
I
day
hate
long.
folding laundry.
It's actually therapeutic for me. You put on a good book or a TV show that I'm binge watching, and by the time I look up, them clothes is put away. I didn't even remember moving around and putting them clothes away.
All
They
right,
just go.
so they're gonna do the laundry. We'll do the dishes. When
Yeah.
you'll do the mopping, we'll just switch over.
Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. It
Okay.
sounds like
I'm
we
all
could keep
for
our
it.
houses real
all for
good. We keep our houses real good with a collective. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm all for that.
All right. Well, so we are actually not going to pull a topic today. We actually had someone send in a topic that we wanted to kind of have a little discussion about. So
Exciting.
shout out to one of our regular listeners, Jahida, who just so happened to be Tamara's sister. She sent us a question, and I think that it is a very good one that all of us could probably have some insight on. So the question is, how can I submit in a world that won't let me be submissive? That's a topic right there.
It's a whole topic because then you got to answer, how is the world holding you back?
Ooh.
How is the world holding you back? What are you dealing with, or what are you going through to where the world is holding you back from doing what you got to do?
And I feel like there could be 2 different perspectives. Are we talking about submitting to God, or are we talking about submitting to a man?
Submitting to God or submitting to society? That
Well-
would be man. Is that what you mean? Like,
Well, I mean,
No,
like,
it's just like a husband.
mhm,
Okay.
as a woman.
Because you shouldn't be submitting to no man that ain't your husband. But we'll leave that one. We'll leave that one right
Heard
there.
that.
Y'all heard that, ladies?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Especially knowing the context of where she's asking, because she's my sister. I know through our personal conversations that's part of the reasoning for the question is in this pursuit of, well, not pursuit, but like in the journey of what it looks like for a man to find me. How do I, as a woman who has been in an independent single mother for such a long time, how do I learn to then submit to a man who's supposed to, when they find me, supposed to be my husband? How do I submit to said man?
Me and Flora about to tag team on this.
Good.
Especially, and I say this especially
Yeah.
because my sister is very headstrong. Like for so long, she's had to be that woman who, you know what I'm saying? So now she's in a place where, number one, she's learning what it truly means to submit to God. That way, when her husband comes along, she can then submit to him. So I know that's probably the heart behind her question. So however we want to
Yeah, I'm
start.
going to let y'all go ahead and
Sherita.
start.
So I'm in a place of positioning. And I feel like God is positioning me to be a submissive wife, someone who can submit to my future husband, because I am single, a single mom at that. And I feel like that this journey that I'm on, like there's no way I can get to the submission part of my husband if I haven't submitted to God first.
Okay,
So-
I'm gonna need you to rewind because that was too good to pass up.
Yes. So again, if I have not submitted to God first, I'm in no way, or I'm in no position to submit to a husband.
That's right.
I'm not gonna know what to do. I can try. I can think of so many things to do. But if I'm looking for kingdom marriage from a kingdom husband,
That's good.
that includes God the Father above, Jesus Christ being first in my life before I can do anything right for a man. Okay, so
So are you saying that in order to submit to a man, you must first submit to
that's
to
exactly
God?
Yep.
what I'm saying. That is
Yep.
exactly what I'm saying, because I feel like that relationship here is going to set up the relationship here.
Yeah.
So if I want to do anything right here, this, my straight up and down, I need to focus on this first. I
So
need
that
to get that right
vertical
first. That's
relationship
right.
is what's gonna be the foundation to the horizontal
promise you.
relationship.
That is
Let's
the
Come
first
on.
major strand
Come
out of
on.
that 3 braid and stuff where
Come
you
on.
and your man
Three-strand
comes
cord,
in.
yeah.
That is that main one.
That is, we just had that Bible verse this at a
Oh,
Bible
that's right.
study. So I was trying to think of which one it was. It's the one I had.
Ecclesiastes.
4.
Yes, 4,
4.
9 through 12.
Yep.
It talks about the strength of the 3 strand cord.
Promise you, you have to align yourself. So my journey is getting my relationship with God right first, because like I said, I want to be married. I desire to be married. And if my desires are going to come to fruition, I want to make sure that I have right relationship with God first. That's just hands down.
Yep.
That's even when it comes to my children, because like I said, I am a single mother. I'm a package deal. So I come with children. Thankfully, they're growing up and moving on out. But I understand that I am doing my best to just line myself with God first.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that, because that's going to help you into finding that or knowing which one is the right man for you, because you already have that relationship
Yeah.
with God. So you'll be able to like, all right, cool. And then, so to pick off, because I agree absolutely 100% with what Sherita said, when it comes to that, especially being independent, and for a long period of time, it does become difficult. But you got to remember that when you find that, or when that man finds you, and just choosing in that, they have to pour into you. It's a give or take kind of thing. So, it's not necessarily, and it can be difficult, at first. It's like, look, I don't need you to pay my bills, because I can do that for myself. I need you to provide things that I cannot provide. I need that companionship. I need that intimacy. I need you to be able to have this relationship with God as well. So I'm going to need that to come into it. And, when it's kind of like, if you are able to fulfill the things, like that will allow me to be submissive. So normally, like I got 2 teenage boys. Normally when I'm around, like I'm not wearing heels or anything like that, because if I need to protect them, to defend them, I need to be ready. Right. But if I have a strong man who is at my level, I don't need to. I can go ahead and just chill. I don't need to go ahead and protect my kids, because I know this man is going to go ahead and do that for me. I don't need to open the door, because I know he's going to go ahead and open the door for me. So once you are able to step up to my level or be above, like, okay, I'm cool. That's where you can become submissive. And it does become really hard, because I'm used to like mowing the lawn, or if I had to plow the snow. It's okay, and it does become a struggle. But for him to have that understanding, like, I've been doing this for so long, but I would love for you to come and be like, you don't have to do that. I'm here now. You go ahead and chill. Go ahead and have your coffee or go ahead and have your wine inside the house. I got this. And it, like I said, it does take that understanding as a woman. It's like, okay, all right, he says he's got this. Okay. And it's going to take time to have that adjustment.
So I was going to say, we can say that you're saying it's good to have the right man to submit to. So if I'm working on myself, my husband is going to lead. So I need someone that is going to lead, which means his relationship is also right with God first.
Right.
So if I'm working on me and my relationship with God and he's not, that's not the person I'm going to be submitting to. That leadership ain't right. So prayerfully, he's lining himself up with Christ as well. And he has the morals and values to keep his relationship with God on the straight and narrow.
Those red flags that we talked about in an earlier podcast.
So what I'm hearing you ladies say is that you've got to know what that looks like and who you're willing to submit to before you even get to the place of submission. I can't talk about submitting to a husband after we've already said our vows. Now at this point, now I'm just in it. If I'm going to be a woman of God, the goal is to be a submissive wife. And can we just take a real quick pause for the cause? I know that some of y'all's like butt cheeks got real tight when we said submissive because it's real intense to hear. It's real when you hear it submissive. A bunch of y'all is like, I ain't submitting to no man. Okay, baby, you gonna be doing the same thing you've been doing your life. Hear me. Y'all hearing submission a lot of times as if you're now a doormat.
No,
That's not.
You're hearing submission in a way that says that I just have to do whatever he says I need to do. Which is the reason why when people hear submission, they get the clenching and grabbing
That
pearls
negative
because
connotation
there's
to it.
a negative idea of submission, and that is not what the Bible is talking about when it's talking about submission. Think about it this way. He's the head. You're the neck. You are helping to direct this thing, right? So he's leading you for sure. He's the head, but you are playing a role alongside him, not underneath him, not behind him. And can I just say not in front of him either? For all of y'all INDEPEDNENT, do you know what that means? Kind of women out there. Like, I get it. You independent. You can do your own. You got your own. I got it. Oh my gosh, I got it. But y'all got to stop trying to be the head when you have a man who is submitted to the Father, and he's trying to be the leader, and you too busy trying to be the leader. And now you trying to figure out why y'all got turmoil.
Right.
It's because he's submitted to the Father, and you are supposed to be submitted to him. And again, that's a walking alongside of. That is supporting. That is a helpmate. I think we talked about a little bit in the last podcast, talking about,
And this morning in Bible
study. In Bible study. Yeah, we did. Talk about companionship. We sure did. Like the idea of submission is that I'll use Daryl and I as an example, because I believe that we do really well at this. Not perfect, but I think we do really well at this. He's a man of God. He loves the Lord. He's walking out that relationship, like not just, I believe in Jesus. No, I'm walking out a relationship with God, right? And he is the head. He's the head of our household. He leads me. He leads our children. He's the breadwinner. I make money. Sure, I got money coming in the door too, but he's the breadwinner. And yet it was okay for him to say, babe, I am so busy at work that I'm asking you to take over the bills. Can you take over the bills? When the money comes in, can you take over making sure that the bills go where they need to go. That was him for a long time, because y'all know I don't like numbers as it is. And so, but he came to me and he said, can you do this for me? Does that mean that I am higher than him? No. Does that mean that I am better than him? No, that means he values me as his helpmate. I need your help. I got a lot going on in this new job, and I know that when the bills come in, we got things to take care of. I know this is a little lot, because we talking about paying bills and you're a little stressed. But like we got these bills are coming in, and we need to handle our business, but I'm so busy at work that I don't have time. I need your help. That is what a submissive wife does. Because then I said, absolutely. I don't actually want to do this, but you said you need my help as your helpmate. So now I'm going to help you by making sure that the money is going to the places that it needs to go.
And that's where the companionship, that partnership comes in.
Absolutely.
We were reading today is to nourish, is to support.
Yeah.
And there are going to be times, and that's the part where like, I don't need you to do this, because there are some women that are the breadwinners in their household. But because you have that communication, that understanding, I know we've spoken of this before in other podcasts, but you need to have that understanding and that companion, and it's okay to be independent and be submissive.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
Yeah, you can't be both.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you're going to be better at than your husband, and vice versa. And it's knowing those roles, and that comes into the communication on it. So I need to know what it is that you can give me that I can't provide for myself. And I'm going to let you know what I can give you that you can't provide for yourself. Because like I said, I can pay my own bills. Just an example. I don't need you to do that. I need you to go ahead and be able to fulfill the things that I cannot do for me.
Yeah, that's good.
My verse this morning in Bible study was Genesis chapter 2. And it was verse 18. And it was talking about how God said that it's not good for man to be alone, so he gave him a companion. And in that commentary, it said that, we are not a doormat. Women, we are not a doormat. You are a rib. You're a whole rib. You're that piece that he cannot do without. So if for a man to say, I don't need you, I don't need this woman, he's contradicting the word of God, because God gave him. He gave him you. And I'm speaking to husbands and wives.
Yeah.
God gave him you. So you are a piece of him that he cannot go without. Because I'm telling you now, lose a rib today, man, you're going to be a little cripple, a little, on the side, a little lean. You're going to be leaning just a little bit. So we were created to do this life together. So I'm all for it.
I think when you think about, I think my biggest thing here is it all goes back. So to help Jahida with this question, since she's the one that asked it, I think the first part goes back. I feel like we're going to come to this every single time. And that is where your identity lies, because this is the reality. The world, the Bible tells us, we've talked about this in previous podcasts, the Bible tells us that we are in the world, not of the world, right? So as a person who is in the world, we have to operate as a part of this world right now, because this is our temporary space. This is not our home. We will be home someday, but right now we are in this temporary space, but we are not of this world, right? Which means you can't be the deciding factor of how I walk out being, because the question was, how do I be a submissive woman? Let me make sure I'm reading this question accurately. She says, how can I submit in a world that won't let me be submissive? The world ain't gonna let us do nothing. We have to be the ones to decide who we are. My identity says that I am the daughter of the Most High God. Period.
Yep.
That means if he's called me to a marriage with a man, so if we're talking specifically a marriage with a man, just Just throwing that out there.
As a woman.
As a woman. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then that means that I'm not following. It doesn't matter what the world says. Mm-hmm. I'm submitted to him, and his word tells me what I'm supposed to do. Now, let's talk about this in other contexts, because there's other ways of submitting. Like, as an employee, I work at Manning University, and my boss is the president of the university, and I am submitted to him in the context of that job. My job as the advancement director falls under him, so I submit myself as a person who works in this, and it's a ministry, right? So I can say this and be okay with these words. I submit myself to my leadership. I submit myself to my leadership as a member of Manna Church. Christopher Fletcher is the pastor. He's the lead pastor of Manna Church in Fayetteville, Fort Bragg. And so I submit myself under my leadership. Does that mean that I don't have leadership because I submit myself under the lead pastor? No, he actually says that we're all leaders. We all have a capacity of leadership that we walk out, but I submit myself under his leadership, which means on Thursdays and Sundays when I go sit in service and I'm listening to my pastor preaching a word that I know for sure he got from the book. I don't have to question that, right? Which means what? I'm submitted to who? The Father. I'm submitted to the Father. When I'm as a employee of Manna University, it's a Christian, it's a Bible institution, right? So everything that we do, our board and our president, they're submitted to the Father,
right?
Which then I, as one of the people who work there, submit to them. Right? So who am I submitted to really? The Father. As a woman who's married, I submit to my husband, who's submitted to God, which means I'm submitted to who? See, I think what I'm trying to get at is learn and understand that if the person that you are submitting to, whether it's your husband or it's your boss or whatever the case may be, at the end of the day, your final submission is to the Father. Even if you don't work in a Bible college or a Christian establishment, God is the one that signs the paycheck at the end of the day. Who are you working for?
What's that verse that say do it as unto the Father? Like when it comes to work.
Do all things as you would do unto the Father, something to the nature. Jaemi's gonna find that in the scripture for us, and she's gonna put it down low. So I think that's one of the things that I hope helps you, Jahida, is that you know and understand that your ultimate submission is to the Father.
First
and the
foremost.
people that he gives you to lead you, you're submitting to them because he gave them to you as your leader. The Bible also tells us that everybody in place of leadership is put there by the Father, right? So if you're a leader at your job, you're a leader in your church, you're a leader who's your husband, they're put there in place by the Father. And if they're put there in place by him, then you are submitted. By submitting to them, you are submitting to him.
Right. By submitting by God and reading the book, we have it on here, is going to help out to pull out that noise that's blocking you from actually hearing what you're supposed to be doing. So, and that's where it comes in, and that's why I agree with Sherita that it all comes out with that submissive to God first, because he's the one who's going to go ahead and help out from the distraction of the world. It's also going to help you to give you the strength that you need in order to help you to be submissive to when the man comes in, and recognizing those signs. Like, look, this person right here, he is not aligned with me. Nope, this is not the person for you. Like, no. But
you gotta know that ahead of time.
Right.
I'm over here looking at Tam because I'm like, you've been real quiet.
Well, as we've been speaking in context of, submission to men, I think because you guys have better experience at that than I do, I was letting y'all, you know what I'm saying? But I was waiting for this part because all of you guys brought it back to what submission to God looks like, and I do have experience in that. So for me personally, submission to God, yes, looks like submission to leadership, or even like Isaiah and I aren't married yet, but noticing the qualities that he will have as a husband, and listening to God in that way. But for me, like where I am right now is giving all of my plans and my ideas and my thoughts and everything about me to God. I know I've said it before, but I genuinely want to be the Tamara that he created and not the Tamara that I have envisioned for myself. I say that because if the plans that I have envisioned for myself align with his will for my life, or his creation and his plan for what he's already designed me to do and to be, then it'll happen. And if not, then it's okay, which makes me laugh because this is what I told Dee when her and I very first met and sat down. She asked me, what if the plans that you have for your life don't align with the plan, or are different from what God has planned for your life? And in my very,
zealous young
Christian, wide-eyed, it's okay, because I know that the plan that God has for me is much better than what I have planned for myself, which is true. But at the same time, walking that out
Totally
is not as easy as it's okay. So one of the things that I have been still now actively trying to get over is this control issue. I like things when they're predictable. I like things when I can manipulate it to
You like
have.
Hallmark movies, don't you?
Not really.
What? Because some things are so predictable.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I like the sappy romance movies, but I don't.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But in real life, things, I like being able to dictate what happens. And it's hard to do that. Well, it's impossible to do that when you're also telling God, I want your plans and your will for my life. So for me, what submission to God looks like is very much, okay, God, this is what I want to happen. However, not my will, but yours be done. There's times when I'm going through things and I genuinely use the words of Jesus, let this cup pass from me, but not, my will, but yours be done. If I'm supposed to be experiencing this, help me to learn the lesson that you're trying to teach me. If this is not where I'm supposed to be, show me, because at the end of the day, I can't express it enough. Like, my heart genuinely cries and yearns for, I want to be the Tamara that you created me to be. Yeah. I want to fulfill all of the plans that you have for me. Like, I genuinely, that for me is what submission looks like. My heart is heavier for God and what I want, or like what he wants for me, rather than the things that I want. So yes, I want to be married. And honestly, if it was up to me, I would be married, long time from now or a long time ago. However, that goes back to what I was saying a couple podcasts ago of Isaiah. I don't want you to ask me until God says it's time, and so that is little submissions that I feel like I can insert of, yes, this is what I really want. However, I want God's plans. Yes, I want to be done with school, but God tells me he wants me to be a doctor. So, okay, God, I'm gonna do that. I'm really trying to get better about complaining. I know we're not supposed to, drag our feet and complain about things. And in that way, I'm still learning how to submit. But for me, in this Christian life of not being married yet and not necessarily having that submission to man outside of like leadership and things like that, that's where my submission, not my will but yours, even though this is what I want, I'm gonna bring it to you. I'm gonna leave it at the altar. And where I am trying my best to get to is to leave it there, because sometimes I have a nice way of putting it down and then, oh God, but I forgot that I need this for something, so I need to pick this back up.
But it's the same thing though, like what you're saying, like going back to like her question, it is a process. It is going to take some time. It is going to take some work. So just the same way as, you're working to being submissive to God, because you have been independent for so long, it's gonna take that time to be submissive to your husband. So you just got to be conscious of it, be working on it. But I think we can all say and agree that you first have to be submissive to God before you can be submissive to man.
Right.
And I think some of it has to do, I was talking to Michelle a couple weeks ago, and she was telling me that she was reading Jackie Hill Perry's, I want to say it was her autobiography, but I can't be sure. But she was saying that in the book, she was talking about how at the end of the day, everything starts, falls, and begins with, it all starts, falls, and begins with who do you want to please more, God or man? Who do you want to please more, God or yourself? Who do you want to please more, God or society, the world? Who do you want to please more, God or your boss? Like every decision that you make boils down to that question of who is it that you are trying to, and not in a way that we're doing things to in a works mindset, but you think about what you just said, Tamara, about not your will but my will, or not my will but your will be done. Like the idea of that is all about, Lord, I want to please you, not this world. I want to follow you. So I want to please you, not myself. So even though I don't want this or I do want this, I'm willing to say, you know, it goes back to, I think about my story of my ex-fiance, and after we got engaged and I started praying that prayer, Lord, I love this man and I want to spend the rest of my life with this man. But if it is not your will, I need you to show me in a way that I cannot ignore. Why? Because I want your will over mine. Right. And if this is not your will, I need you to show me. But also, going back to the red flags thing, I've got a tendency to ignore those things at times. A gifting almost, like you can ignore it real quick. You be like, God, show me a sign. And he slap you with the sign. And then you be like, that wasn't a sign. Girl, he literally hit you in the face. What is you talking about? That ain't a sign. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I know that you know me better than I know myself. So I want this, but if this is not what you have for me, then I need you to show me in a way that you know I need to hear, not in a way that I want to hear, because I know the way I want to hear is probably flawed because it comes from me.
You know what's funny? I told my son Isaiah, shout out Navy. I told him, because he's thinking about getting married, and I told him to pray that prayer, and he told me, he was like, I prayed the prayer. He was like, but God ain't showed me yet. I said, baby, just not. I said, no. You need to say the words that I cannot ignore.
And you got to keep saying it over and over. I prayed that prayer every single night, and we were engaged, so we had a wedding date, so I was going to say it every day until I said I do. So once I said I do, what's the point? Now I'm here, right? But I was going to say that thing every single day up until I said I do. And it just so happened that God 5 months before the I do, God said it in a way that I could not ignore. And I had to walk away. It was no ifs, ands, or buts. Did it hurt? Absolutely. But there was what am I sticking around for? God made it clear, regardless of how I feel. You answered my prayer. I asked you. I still feel like you could have came down a little bit, God. But
no, you said,
but I said, no way he knows me.
That's right.
He knows me better than I know myself, and I could not ignore that the way he did it. And so, not the way he did it, but the way it came very clear. I think it's one of those things where we'll ask God something one time, and then we didn't hear an answer. Either we didn't hear anything at all, or we think we didn't like what we heard, and then that's he must be good with this. God ain't saying that. You need to stop with them shenanigans and keep asking him, like, show me in a way that I can't ignore. Why? Because I know you know me better than I know me, and I'm gonna mess this thing up. I'm gonna mess this thing up.
We're good for the that's all right. Oh, that's gonna pass.
So cute.
Oh, it's
So
gonna
adorable.
change.
So
we just did it one time.
So Dee's talking right now in the context of like with something that we want, and this just reminded me of when we went to Catalyst. And Stephen Chandler was speaking, and he was talking about, you know, how
Shout out to Union Church.
for real. He was talking about Hannah, and how Hannah was asking God for a child, but God was giving her a prophet. So what she was asking for took time, you know what I'm saying? But the importance of the context of this specifically, something that he said that I wrote down was, you know, this is coming from pretty much how I interpreted how God says it. If I give you something that you're not willing to give back to me, it becomes an idol. So in terms of if it's something you want and it's on your heart heavy and you genuinely want it badly, for example, going back to me wanting to be married, like if I'm not willing to, number one, give it to him, you know what I'm saying, before it happens, then who's not to say that when he finally does give it to me that I still, like, I won't give it to him then. And then here I am idolizing marriage rather than allowing it to be something that glorifies him, which is, I think, right now where I'm very heavily on, like, explaining to Isaiah that I don't want you to ask me until God says it's time, because of the fact that what I've been praying for on the back end is that, God, I want my marriage to glorify you. I want when people look at my marriage for it to genuinely be, we see the presence of God here in this marriage. I don't want it to be anything about me. I don't want it to be anything about Isaiah in terms of like from the outside looking in, but I want everything I do, not even just marriage, but whether for it be me and my schooling, whether if it be, you know, me and my career, me and the kids that I'll have, like just in general. And this is where I'm saying like my heart posture is heavy on the fact that I just want to serve God, like in everything. I want when people look at me not to be, oh, Tamara, you're so X, Y, and Z, because I'm not, you know, it's genuinely, truly God in everything.
It's good. All right, guys, the time goes by so fast. We are out of time, so let's do our speed round. Last thing you want to say? We're gonna go Sherita and around. Oops, sorry. We're gonna go Sherita and around, and just like that one last thing that you want to share with our listeners.
The only thing I want to say is don't let the word submit be an ugly word.
That's good.
Don't let it be an ugly word. Don't be afraid of it. Just, if you are embracing God, embrace the submit.
It's good. I like that.
I don't know. I feel like in the context of submitting to God, just give it to him. There's a picture that I see on Instagram all the time, and it says like my plans, and it's like one beautiful little flower, and then it says God's plans, and it's like 3 bouquets wrapped together of like the same flower. So I want that to be your heart and your mindset. Give what you want, give your plans, give your thoughts, your ideas, all of these things to God, because most of the time, not only does he want that for you, but he wants better than you can even think or imagine.
Yeah, it's good.
For me, I will say, you know, submit to God first, and if it helps, you know, with the noise, you know, just read the Bible, you know, have that relationship with God, so that you can hear God instead of hearing what the world has to say, what you should do.
Yeah, it's good. I think I would just say, and this is specifically to Jahida, since this was her question, I would say, remember who you are, who he is growing you into be. This journey that you are on is about him and him alone. It's actually not even about you. It's about him. The Bible, they talk about it at Manna Church all the time. The Bible is not actually about us. It's about God. It's his story. And so I think if we could just remember whatever this world has, it's temporary. It's temporary, but God is eternal. Our relationship with him is meant to be eternal. Our life with him is meant to be eternal. And so when you're thinking about the difference between what God says and what this world is or will or will not, does or does not want you to do, because God forbid you get canceled, just remember, we don't serve a canceling God. He's eternal, and he's eternally faithful to us. So we need to be faithful to him and not to what this world has to offer.
Good question, Jahida. Thank you.
Shout out to Jahida. And just like her, she sent that in. We are saying, like, send them in, drop them in the comments. We'd love to answer some of you guys' questions. This was really cool. We have plenty of questions in the box, but we won't hesitate to answer you guys' questions.
Right. Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Yeah. Don't we have an email address? Rooted and Raw podcast at gmail.com. So maybe you don't want to put it in the comments because maybe it's embarrassing and you don't want anyone to see it but us. Is that the right address?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Rooted and Raw podcast at gmail.com. You can send questions there. We check it. We'll answer your questions. We'd love to answer them. We can answer it in an email, or if you prefer and you want us to answer it on the podcast, we're down. Just let us know. All right. Speaking of which, make sure to subscribe wherever you get this content. So we are on
Spotify.
Yep.
Apple.
Yep. And YouTube. Yep. And so like, subscribe, share, send this to the homies. If there's somebody out there that got some of these same questions, or maybe this question wasn't for Jahida, maybe it's for our homegirl. I know it was for you, Jahida, but still, like, maybe there's somebody else who needs it. Maybe you know somebody personally who needs this. Send it, share it, whatever. Real easy to do. Copy the link.
Did we say we on TikTok?
I'm getting there. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yep. My bad.
We're
also.
Sherita said.
Wrap it up. We're on TikTok. That is
Rooted and Raw podcast.
And we're on Instagram, which is
Rooted and Raw 25.
Yep. So she handles our socials. So that's why I keep looking at her, because don't leave it up to me. All right. It's been great. It's been wonderful. Thank you again, Jahida. And we hope to get to answer more questions from more of our listeners and viewers. Until the next time, stay rooted. Stay raw.